Good morning, afternoon, and evening, everybody. This is your host, Ahmed Hamer from the BNB Chain Gaming team. Today, I'm accompanied by Andre Costa, the head of growth of NodeReal, and it's another session for our global game jam on BNB Chain. Today, Andrew will be taking us through what NodeReal is, what can NodeReal do for us, and how can we utilize the tools. Andrew, here's to you. Let's start right away.
Hi, thanks. Hi, everyone. Thanks, Ahmed, for this awesome intro. Let me just, going by some of the pitch deck or some of the slides that I prepared for you, especially to talk about, NodeReal and what we are doing to contribute to the whole BNB chain, and especially for, for the game jam session. Let me just quickly share my presentation. I hope everybody can see it. Let me just do a quick test. Yeah, can you confirm that everybody can see it clearly? I think so. Just confirm. Yeah, okay, nice. All right, so yeah, my name is Andre. I'm head of growth for Europe and Europe markets. And I'm here today to talk about how NodeReal and our role as the core contributors for BNB Chain and the GameFi industry. So NodeReal, we can understand like we are a one-stop blockchain infrastructure and service provider that offers a scale, a reliable and efficient blockchain solutions for everybody, for everyone. Our aim is to support the massive adoption and the growth and the long-term success of the Web3 ecosystem. Sorry. Our vision in terms of, not looking only for the Web3, but also for the Web 2.5 or the Web 2 companies that want to jump into the space. We envision ourselves as like the ultimate Web3 provider. Usually when we talk about NodeReal in some events, I usually refer to as we aim to be the next, I would say, Amazon or the cloud provider for the Web3. So we want to give like a kind of like a seamless experience to not only for the developers or for the products companies on the Web3, but also for the users. Our aim is to provide just a single click solution to deploy and run your product, your games, as we're talking about today, in a very easy and to have the same experience as the Web 2 world. Right? So this is kind of like our vision. And to do that, sorry, we at NodeReal, we provide a range of services that make it easy for everybody to leverage the power of blockchain technology. So one of our unique features is our blockchain access layer. So via RESTful APIs that are commonly used in the Web 2 world, we can use them to query on-chain data for a multi-chain data, like we can see on the BSC, Ethereum, etc. So this means that everybody or everyone can easily, access and query blockchain data without having the hassle or to worry about the underlying infrastructure or in other way, how should I implement such developments and such efforts just to retrieve data or do read and write operations. So we tend to create an easy approach to the blockchain world by using the same mechanisms as the Web 2. We also offer blockchain as a service, as you can see here on the second, like the layer 2 application chain, and position ourselves as like industry leaders in enterprise solutions by building, I would say, solid projects in different business cases. As for example, of the GameFi, I can explain that later. One of the interesting examples with a fancy chain. Let's review that later. So this allows us to provide our customers with a secure and reliable blockchain infrastructure that is tailored for specific needs. I will explain that later, but for example, if you are a project that wants to give a sort of cashless transactions to the first wave of users, or you want to build customized use cases for your game or for your own business, you need to rely not on a public blockchain, but your own blockchain. We can discuss that later, and if the audience has any questions, please feel free to ask around, and we'll try to answer it. In addition to all of this, we offer also Explorer as a service. meaning that we can provide and deploy block explorers that are accordingly to the project needs and wants, staking and validator node services for Aptos Chain and BSC. This is like also an attempt to allow users to easily participate in the blockchain networks, as you can see, and earn rewards for validating transactions. Pretty straightforward. So our target audience includes businesses, developers, all of the stakeholders within not only on the game side, but also in all of the industry. So anyone who wants to leverage the power of the blockchain technology to build the new innovative applications can use, of course, NodeReal and ask us for kind of like an early approach, so we can start working together and work something about a partnership or something closer to that. So this slide is just a graphic representation of the things I talked about previously about the APIs. So what we can see here on, I would say, the right side, all of the blockchain data can and it is safely managed by our high-speed data pipeline. So we make it available again by representation, by built on top of using APIs. At the end of the day, you will heavily reduce the development efforts on your development team by using RESTful APIs. You will increase overall efficiency and performance. And the thing that is most important, and I would say the critical part of it, is to improve the user experience. Again, to bring more traction and to bring more success to your project. These are very, very interesting, the data points that you can see here. Is that in a way we can actually support the BNB Chain community, and I will say all of the Web3 community. As we can see here, 70% of the BNB Chain RPC service the public nodes are running through our infra. Another cool fact is that 60% of the top 15 BNB Chain projects are partnered up with NodeReal. We want to be I would assume that we are one of the top partners with BNB Chain community. And again, from the game side of things, we also want to be, the preferred, or at least, one of the top infra providers in BNB Chain, at least. And, such a cool fact. So we can go through this later if you have any questions. To give an example about how we can and actually help improve and help maintain and go to a step further in BNB Chain is, for example, faster finality. But that means that for the in 2023 up to this year, we want to increase and help BNB Chain to increase the number of transactions per second and achieve finality in 6 seconds. So that's why we are working closely with BNB Chain to enable this feature. And again, this is all made by a simple purpose: to enable mass adoption and to improve the overall user experience. So we can discuss this later on. About the end-to-end service, as I referred previously about blockchain as a service, we do have our own framework and a set of methodologies, that allow any interested industry or any interested game studio or game developer or even a company to build their own blockchain with their own business model. As we can see here from these images, there are, I would say, 4 big steps to do it. Usually the consulting is more for, gathering all of the requirements, the business model, the strategies implemented, what can we, expect, and what's the rough estimation in terms of investments to do and to pull this blockchain as a service project. And also on designing part, we not only help design the blockchain itself, but we can also, with the help of a BNB chain, we can also help do the chain configurations, the tokenomics that is very critical for any project, right? And also you kind of like helping with the prototyping of the mockups, UI, everything that is being set up for, to not only have the blockchain, but also the experience of the blockchain. The development is self-explanatory. As you can see here, we're going to develop, and we can develop every tooling and necessary features required to run the blockchain. And the operation, One of the things that is heavily, requested from NodeReal is to help on the operations side, because maintaining a blockchain and maintaining the consistency of the blockchain data using our, again, our data pipelines is very demanding. And usually what we try to aim is that our partners can outsource these efforts to us and be more focused on the product itself instead of the infrastructure. I would assume that any business owner, or at least any developer lead, will think of this as like, I can be really focused on developing the game, developing the features, developing what my users want, and I can delegate the critical but also not very core core developments to an infrastructure company like NodeReal. And we are doing this very successfully, as I shown previously, at least BNB chain, and we are doing the same for the rest of the the remaining chains. This is like a quick comparison. I don't want to explain too much, but as we can see here, relying on public chains, transactions per second can be significantly lower, and the gas fees are usually higher if we can think of Ethereum, for example. And you cannot, what would I say, do the customizations that I referred to as before. So you need to have your own ecosystem, define your own rules, and with that, you can specify what you really want to achieve with your own blockchain and enable your users to feel in the proper environment that you want to deploy in. As I mentioned before, I would like also to take a moment to discuss this fancy, because I see this, this is from the BNB chain, but also with the Game Jam. The fancy, one of the top metaverse GameFi projects in the space, I would say that. So Fancy Chain that is made by by NodeReal is especially designed to popularize the Web3 era by providing a platform and infrastructure, I would say the metaverse, that continues to evolve to build a trusted-based, scalable, cost-effective, and easy-to-use game. So essentially, they just created like this pool where whenever a game wants to deploy a new game, they can deploy it on Fancy Chain. So I would assume that after they launched later last year, when they launched this mainnet, they marking a turning point and realizing generalization of the blockchain in everyday life. So this was a significant, I would say, achievement for Fancy, and it really reflects our commitment to providing the tools and infrastructure necessary to support the growth of the Web3 ecosystem and supporting the Fancy chain. So we at NodeReal, we are very proud to have played a role and continuously playing a role in helping Fancy to achieve its vision of building a metaverse and a concept that allows the growth of the Web3 gaming industry and pushes forward for the mass adoption. Lastly, I want to talk a little bit about Greenfield. I know everybody is questioning, and I remember that we had a session, another AMA about Greenfield. So this is like a very very interesting topic. I'm not a solutions architect about the Greenfield, but I can take some time to discuss about this. So this new project, this Greenfield, is a centralized storage space. As well, we know centralized storage brings concerns about censorship, monopoly. Everything is centralized. So while existing centralized storage solutions like Filecoin, Rwave, or Storage have made strides in addressing these, I would say, these issues, they still face a number of challenges that make mass adoption difficult. And one of the biggest challenges faced in solutions is programmability. So like Filecoin and Rwave are independent L1 networks that utilize their own distinct programming models. Just for example, the FVM from Filecoin and SmartWave from Rwave, sorry. This makes it very difficult for developers to build on these networks, and they are limited to options for development tools and libraries and high, learning curve. So Storage, on the other hand, does not offer any programmable layer at all, which limits its usefulness for building applications. So Greenfield aims to solve these problems by seamlessly integrating into the existing BNB chain ecosystem, which has, in my opinion, and it's fact proof, that has the largest user base and the most familiarity with among of the DApps ecosystem. So by utilizing BNB as a utility token, Greenfield eliminates the needs for users and decentralized applications or products to own all of the fill R storage tokens to use it as its storage service. This really helps to address the inconsistent address schemas that can make it very difficult for users to access different storage services while or using the same BSC addresses. So overall, I think Greenfield represents a promising new solution for the centralized storage space. Again, it's integrating with the BNB chain ecosystem, so we will make every use of all, I would say, of the whole ecosystem, and using the BNB chain, the BNB token as a utility token makes it compelling option for those who are looking for decentralized storage solution that is programmable, I would say high performing and easy to use. So in a nutshell, let me go to the last slide. Before I wrap this up, special thanks again for Ahmed and for the BNB Chain team for making this session possible. It's always exciting to have the opportunity to share our ideas and learn from another of the blockchain community. We'll also to thank the audience for joining us today and for the interest, the interest in the future of blockchain infrastructure technology. We, as personally myself, I believe that infrastructure services is a critical area for innovation and growth. Without that, we cannot sustain a larger user base. Currently, what we can see is that we have millions of users, but what we are trying to achieve is to have billions of users. And as for the Web 2, we cannot rely exclusively on standalone solutions. We needed Amazon, we needed cloud services to help us scale out and grow big in terms of requests and usage. So this is like we want to do the same. We want to give this experience to and growth to the Web3 ecosystem. So thank you again for the attention and for your commitment for advancing the blockchain industry, especially in the game. We surely look forward to continue this conversation and hopefully to get some questions from you if you have some, and maybe to reveal more about what we can do together. So hopefully you enjoyed about my presentation, and let's see if we have any questions for the audience. Thanks, Ahmed. I don't know if you are here, there, yeah.
Yeah, I'm back now. Thank you very much for that, Andre. That was very informative. Let's take some questions from the audience. Actually, before the audience starts asking questions on the comments, I'm going to ask two questions, but I'm going to be extremely biased. First of all, because BNB Chain, I want to know, how does NodeReal contribute to BNB Chain?
Okay, nice. Very good question. So as I mentioned before, we are fully committed to improve the overall performance of the BNB chain. As I stated, and the data shows that 40% of the BAPs are from NodeReal. For example, we have the enhancements of Parallelism 3.0, fast Finality. We are like 80% of the public traffic from the BNB chain is powered by NodeReal. We can think of these 2 points as I would assume the biggest contribution to the whole BNB chain. Actually, to be honest, most of our team is very committed to the BNB chain itself. So whenever we do internal, let's say, discussions about our products, we really think about BNB chain firstly to see how we can leverage more, and deliver more performance in the overall chain. So our improvements in the infrastructure side are really reflected on the BNB chain itself. So we always try to keep up with everything, but being very focused on the BNB chain as a whole. Because if we can think of, if BNB chain grows, if BNB chain goes faster or improves highly, Yeah, we definitely will join the because everybody is going to use our infra, and at the same time, it will enable more adoption. It will enable more growth of the community. And at the end of the day, that's what BNB Chain and NodeReal and all of the other partners want, right? So yeah, I would say this like my answer to this to your very very interesting question. Yeah.
Thank you very much for that, Andre. And the second question is, I mentioned I'm going to be biased about both questions. So the first one was about BNB Chain. The second one is definitely about gaming because this is the BNB Chain Game Jam, and that's my field. That's what I'm interested in. How can NodeReal help gaming projects specifically? What problems do you help gaming projects navigate?
Okay. Maybe I before I answer to your question, um, I would like to to give some steps about the game itself, or how projects can envision how to build a game on Web3. So I would say like the first step is really to identify how the blockchain technology can be used to enhance their game experience and create more immersive again experience with the players. So this may involve exploring features such as like standard ones like NFTs, centralized markets, and in-game currencies, or like in-game currencies in a way that how they can utilize the token and how it can be used both inside and outside of the game. I would say some of the steps these can be really considered. And once the game developers, I mean the team has identified which Web3 features and functionalities they really want to incorporate into their game, and they should then focus on building out the necessary infrastructure to support those features. This, of course, may involve working with a blockchain infrastructure like NodeReal to leverage the blockchain access layer, the blockchain as a service as a discussed before, and also talking about the staking and the validated node services and the rewards mechanisms that can be discussed on again to match the functionalities and the desires of the team. So another important step, I would say, is to ensure that the game is designed with the Web3 principles, in mind. Again, because BNB Chain also has this vision, so I would suggest all of the games to include, transparency, decentralization, and user control on their architecture and mechanisms of the project. And I would say that finally, the game team should work to build a community around the game that is really, interested and invested to the Web3. You know, this could be like an off topic, but I would assume that leveraging social media like Discord, Telegram, using a lot of social engagement mechanisms, online forums, engage with the players, share updates. I would say it's very basic for any project, but for a game to be successful, that could be, the next step. And one of the things that we do at the NodeReal, is to provide that range and to build a partnership together. So whenever we face with a new project from the games or for any kind of industry, we try to promote each other and to build this foundation to everybody to be aware and knowledge about the game, and to bring them aboard by an awesome user experience from the one side of the game, and to have the same feeling when using the game and minting NFTs, for example, to have the same experience as a Web 2. So, answer to your question, I don't know if it answered it, but yeah, this is like my view to that question.
Okay, thank you very much for that. And we have one question actually from the audience. Is it possible to store contact email, name, company, title, info on chain without exposing the data to everybody?
Yeah, I would assume, and it's a very good question from Walter. I would assume that by leveraging our decentralized storage solution, the user will get their own privacy on the data. So it's like a big step. When we're referring to storing contact like email, name, company, title, feels like it's going to be, very personal content, so in the Greenfield, for example, we'll enable that the owner of the data can easily trade, and store and the owner of that data. So yeah, is it going to be possible? Yes, of course. On Greenfield, yes. Using this on BNB chain, I would assume that the data will be a lot to be processed on the BNB chain. So I think not, but Greenfield definitely will solve that. Yeah.
Fair enough. Thank you for that
Yeah.
answer, Andre.
And yeah. Sure.
Thank you very much. Actually, that's all the questions that we have for today. Let me know if you'd like to add something.
Yeah, just to say that our marketing plan and our roadmap for the GameFi, for the Game Jam. So we do plan to join the GDC, and looking forward to meet more exciting projects there, and also to keep to really try to understand the requirements from the games. One of the things that I'm really enjoyable to do whenever I talk with with projects and talk with developers, is trying to understand their struggle points. For example, I was talking this morning with a very interesting project, and one of the things that he mentioned was like the wallet management system. Like whenever a user wants to go in and start playing, okay, he can actually enter the game and do the regular game stuff. But then he's faced with the thing that he wants to connect with the wallet and needs to buy some special token to play with the game. And now he doesn't have a token. He needs to go to an exchange. And after going to an exchange, he has a token. And if he's on a mobile phone, he needs to switch from one application to another. It's a very confusing, right? Very steps, like 20 steps at least, to do a very basic operation that we can do it with a credit card. So these are, this one would be one of the pain points that they have, and this is something we want to, to retrieve more from the audience, more from the projects, to see where is the struggle point, where are the issues, and where NodeReal can develop products or at least special abilities to really to solve them. That's one of the expectations. So in our roadmap, we are focused on, I would say, enable growth by enabling developers with more tools, with more comprehensive, set of features that they can deploy immediately on their products. So I would say that in the next couple of months, you can expect from NodeReal to be very, very keen to understand how we can help further on the game side. Not on the infrastructure side, as I mentioned, like the APIs or the boxes access layer, but also which products are there really want to, to invest with. And that's why we are here. I would say it's a very, very interesting thing to share among everyone.
Amazing. Thank you very much, Andre. And with that, we finish our session for today. Sincerely appreciate all the questions that were answered and the information that was laid out. I've been your host for today, Ahmed Hamer. Thank you, everybody, for signing up and listening to us, and have a fantastic day ahead of you. Game on.
Thank you, everyone.